subscribe. You got me mad now.
Welcome back to the Strong Mid-Card Podcast, or in the Strong Mid-Card channel. No, it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks, and man, there's been a hell of a lot of noise and news been going around the wrestling world, but I'm pretty sure everybody already knows about it. The whole, I think I touched about it a little bit last time with the whole, plane ride from hell, part 2 from Saudi Arabia, and that whole deal, and the Seth Rollins thing, and everything that's going around, and that's making the waves, especially in the WWE side, the really bad ratings, and the NXT versus AEW ratings battle that's getting closer and closer because both shows are putting on amazing shows. So that's one thing we can take away from that. Wednesday night is the night. Damn it, Wednesday night is the night. So that's something, the stuff that's been going around last couple of weeks. Full Gear was on Saturday. I'm recording this on a Monday night. I wanted to do a review, but I mean, you can go and listen to a lot of reviews from a lot of bigger channels, and they'll probably break it down a lot better than I did. Pretty much I can say is that it was a very fun show. I enjoyed it from top to bottom. Really loved the women's match. I thought it was a great Joshi style match, and the only thing I can say about that is that maybe AEW needs to stop leaning so much on the Japanese girls and start teaching some of these other girls how to work, because Riho and Emi Sakura can do that with their eyes closed and put on that kind of match. That last sequence was fucking amazing. I'm sorry, man, but I'll sit here and say it again that the Britt Baker thing ain't working. I mean, Rhea Priestley, I've seen her have good matches. She's coming from Stardom and from the Joshi stuff, so like Britt Baker, I think just they need definitely more work on her. Maybe loan her out to the Indies, let her get some more work done and that kind of stuff. And the real highlights from the women's division, I think, is Shanna and I forget the other girl, the bad girl, with the does the licking of the finger, sticking it in the air. What the hell is her name? Hayter? Jamie Hayter? Is it Jamie Hayter? She's great. Like those, I know one of them, Shanna, got signed. They need to sign Jamie Hayter if they haven't already. She's great. They need that's a classic babyface and a classic heel, and they both got over with the crowd, and they could both work, and they looked great in their matches. Sign them, and sign more of them. The international flavor is cool, because quite frankly, NXT or the WWE and Impact seem to have a stronghold in the women's division. So you got to go out there and keep looking for these. Develop. Keep your eye on the American scene, but for sure go out there and look at the international scene as far as the women goes. As far as the rest of the night, the Cody match was amazing. It was great storytelling. You have two guys who are great at storytelling. Cody is probably the number one babyface in wrestling today, and I guess maybe you could say Jericho's the number one heel, but I mean, who knows? He's doing phenomenal, obviously. I don't know where they're going to go with this whole thing. Obviously, the MJF Cody thing is next. I think that's going to be a fun rivalry. But who wins that one? Because MJF needs the rub. I mean, they got to make a mid-card title, and that's got to be MJF's next thing after this Cody thing. Because obviously I don't think he's going to come out the winner in the end of that. I think Cody wins that rivalry and then has to work his way back up to getting the number one contendership. I don't know how they're going to do it for the title. Maybe Jericho loses to somebody else and then Cody gets it that way. And then, Jericho comes back and says, "You never beat me." And they have that whole deal fiasco. That could be a cool thing down the line. Or, and MJF loses and maybe they create a mid-card title and have MJF, battle everybody that's in the mid-card for it. That should be fun too. I think MJF, as far as the mic goes, is ready to be the number one heel. As far as his work goes, I haven't seen too much of him in AEW. So I'll see how much better he's gotten. Hopefully he gets some matches in there finally. What else? This is why I really wanted to cut this podcast, because the Omega Moxley match and the controversy and everything that's spewing from there. So I'm sure you've heard, if you're listening to this, I'm sure you heard other podcasts that talk about, bigger podcasts that it's too violent, it's too this. It's just like I was listening to Meltzer and Alvarez just kind of destroy this. I was listening to JD from New York saying that he doesn't, like this particularly. And, the What Culture guys, the Cultaholic guys, and the Steven Larsons of the world. My whole thought is on the whole hardcore. I love hardcore wrestling. I love deathmatch wrestling. If you follow us here, you know we do a lot of CZW stuff, BJW stuff, and all that. And you know, I mean, I know the risks that come from it, but I like the fact that, as crude as it seems, I think there is a bit of an artistry to what you do there. It's you have to make, you can't just, you know, keep hitting people over the head with stuff all the time. There has to be a story in that, and there has to be a build, obviously, you know what I mean, and there has to be entertaining, almost cartoonish in a way, like the same way you would watch a cartoon. That's the same way you got to watch a death match, because yeah, there's some spots that go horribly wrong, but you know what I mean, it ain't for anybody. And honestly, this match wasn't even that crazy. I think they even said that the glass spot was a gimmick glass, and maybe the barbed wire web was a gimmick barbed wire. Still looked awesome. The fact that they would go to this, you shouldn't be surprised from an unsanctioned match with Jon Moxley, who's a legend in CZW. And if you've never seen CZW stuff, go take a look, please. I have a bunch of it up, the reactions that we did from the past from our old channel. And Omega, this kind of match with this kind of hype and main eventing, you know he's going to go above and beyond. So you know he's probably talking to, you know, Jamie Havoc and Janela, and that's probably why he had the match with Janela, to kind of get people warmed up to seeing him doing more hardcore stuff. And you know Kenny was going to go full on to this, full gear, if you will. I love the match. I thought it was great. I had fun watching it. I laughed like I did back when I was a teenager, when I would watch ECW matches, and you know, the FMW matches from Japan, and it's like, it's all in good fun, man. I know there were some spots that were kind of hard to watch, but you know, I hear a lot of people kind of criticizing this, and these are the same people around my age that back then were loving the stuff, like watching Terry Funk and Mick Foley get thrown off of a freaking stage on a dumpster and lighting themselves on fire, and Mick Foley getting thrown off the cage, and that crazy match he had with Triple H. I think it was a Royal Rumble hardcore match, and you know, these are the ECWs and all that stuff, and then now all of a sudden it's like, no, that's too violent. Like, come on, man, let's you know. It is kind of annoying just to see that. It's just, I loved it for what it was. They can't do this all the time, obviously, but every once in a while like this, it's fine. I think, you know, 3 times max to have a crazy match like this on pay-per-view, more than enough, because AEW needs to be the buffet of wrestling. They need to have every niche down: comedy, technical, high spot, hardcore, you know, and storytelling, and then straight up, you know, brawls and straight up wrestling matches. And you know, if we're still arguing about this, there was no chair shots to the head. Yeah, there was some, which by the way, I was surprised that it's not plywood underneath the ring and it's actual planks of wood. Those it looks like to be like 2x6s. They are pretty thick, but for the most part, I mean, I think they landed pretty safely on there. Like I said, like the you know, there wasn't that much blood, except for the barbed wire to the back, and you know, that kind of stuff. That's pretty much really it. It wasn't a BJW match. It wasn't a CZW tournament death match. You know, you want to see that? Jimmy Havoc, a guy who's in AEW, won the tournament of death matches. Go watch his matches from that year, and you know, then come back and compare it to this. Go watch an old Jon Moxley match, and then compare it to this. This, you know, an old ECW match even, and compare it to this. There is no comparison. This was just a straight up fun hardcore match. My only real criticism of this match is that this is the end of a feud match, and this is really their first match against each other. So this is my only criticism, is that maybe they should have had a straight up match, like just a straight up brawl as their first match. Then maybe you elevate the next match into like a cage match or something, and then this should be the blow off match to a great rivalry where you just balls to the wall, just throw everything at it, and big crescendo, you know, and then it's over. That's my only criticism of this, but I still loved it. I thought it was great. It was definitely, it had an old school feel to it, to like the ECW days and even the current CZW days, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And depending on how you feel about hardcore wrestling, you know, I mean, you either loved it or hate it. The people that criticized it were just, I don't know, man. I didn't really, it just maybe because it just seems like a relic, like an old style of match that isn't, you know, really seen on big companies, big shows like this, or a big company like AEW. Like WWE does a really, really watered down version of whatever, you know, they have an event called Extreme Rules where like nothing extreme happens. You know, I guess it just sounds cool, but they don't really have, then they'll have a table spot here and there or something crazy. Somebody falls off a cage or through a gimmick table with the crash pad underneath or something like that. But, you know, really, when you get down to it, they're super PG, and they're not going to take those kinds of risks anymore, and that's fine. But AEW is, like I said, they're the buffet, so they got to play around with this stuff, see what people like. From what I'm hearing on TV, the fan reaction was kind of gasp, and there's some spots that got a good crowd reaction. But hearing from people like on Twitter and stuff, from the people that were there, that everything was getting over great, and people were really into it. So that's cool too. People really love the card. People really love the pay-per-view. Overall, I give the whole pay-per-view A-, just almost maybe a B+ to A-. It was really fun. A little long, but none of the matches really dragged that much. There was just a couple, like the triple threat tag team match was a little sloppy, but once they got their, everything going, it was fine. I'm sure Private Party probably had a hard time, having just lost one of their friends earlier in that day, I believe, or maybe the day before. But I'm sure that maybe had a little bit to do with it. But still, was a great match. Great pay-per-view overall. I really like the hardcore wrestling stuff. I don't mind it whatsoever. Maybe I'm just like super used to it. Like, I still cringe when there's hard stuff, like hard chair shots, or like a crazy, apron spot, or table spot. Did I say that already? Barbed wire spot. Whatever it is, I still cringe a little bit, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching it. Like, if it's a good, entertaining match, I'm going to watch. I love watching hardcore matches, so that's just me. What do you guys think about hardcore matches, or AKA garbage matches, gimmick matches, whatever? Let me know what you guys think. Was this too much? Was it really too much? Did you really think it was too much? I really hope and think you guys don't think it was too much. I think you're with me on this one, that it was sort of tamed. And really, the only criticism, and it was they blew their load too fast on this rivalry. This should have been the end of a long 2-3 match, like a 3-4 match rivalry. Anyway, so moving on. All right, next topic I want to get to. It's a pretty hot topic within this last week. The whole Lana, Rusev, Lashley debacle. Shit theater that's pretty much going on. This crappy late 90s Jerry Springer, crap. Really bad soap opera crap. It doesn't belong on your wrestling TV in 2019, and WWE doesn't seem to get it. I find it hard to believe that Paul Heyman is in charge of this, but then again, maybe not, because here's the thing. Paul Heyman was a genius, and everybody thought he was this great creative genius back in the day, but maybe did the sport pass him by? If he's really in charge of this, did the sport pass him by, and he just doesn't know that this kind of stuff doesn't really move the needle anymore like it did back in, his old ECW days, and maybe early 2000s WWE SmackDown days. Like, something I could see something like this. In fact, it did have something like this. Isn't Dawn Marie, wasn't she banging Tori Wilson's dad for a little while or something like that? Like, that's the kind of shit you saw back then, and the whole, love triangle with Matt Hardy and Lita and Edge. And they try to bring that shit back now. It just doesn't make sense, because it just makes Lana look terrible. It makes all three of them look terrible, man. Like, this is garbage to wrestling. This is garbage TV, man. I think this is probably the worst thing that they've had. I don't know. That's kind of hard to say, because they have a lot of crappy shit, but this is really bad. This is bottom of the barrel shit, man. I was also reading that Vince McMahon is the one that's really like spearheading this, saying that this is heat. This is real heat on Lashley. Like, that kind of shit. I don't think the man knows what the kind of heat this isn't a good kind of heat. This is go away, get this off my fucking TV heat. This is, I'm wasting my money coming to this event to see this crap, and I want to see wrestling type of heat. I don't think he knows the difference anymore, and of course nobody's going to tell him any different. Brings up another subject, or right into this next subject that I'm talking into, that actually goes with this, which is this a troll on the fans? Does WWE really hate the fans that much that they're going to keep forcing this on them? That's why they're doing it, because their core audience keeps coming back to the show, and they're torturing the people who are willing to watch this crap for 3 hours every Monday night. But yet it's almost like they're doing this to piss off the smarks, or whatever you want to call us, or people that pay attention to everything. Are they trying to piss off the people on the internet wrestling community? Is that what they're trying to do? Because nobody's really watching it, or maybe watching it on YouTube or on a highlight package. Nobody's watching your fucking show to watch this, man. Except maybe the guys who make money off of the podcast and actually have to sit there and watch this shit every 3 hours, which I feel bad for you guys. But hey, this is the life you chose. But and good on you, man, because I love what listening to those podcasts and those poor bastards having to recap what the hell happened. But is it a troll? Do you think WWE really hates his fans that much that they're going to keep forcing this down your throat like a Roman Reigns thing? It's like, oh, you hate it? And no, we're going to show you who's really in charge. Put more Roman out there. Like, is this one of those things where like, oh, you hate this? Well, guess what? Now you're going to get more of this fucking Jerry Springer shit. It really makes you think, like, where is their head at right now? October was supposed to be a big month, and it just, PR wise, it's a lot of really bad things just all happened at once, man. And then this doesn't seem to go away. They keep pushing it harder. Like, it's almost like they want to show you, look, we're doing long form storytelling, and you guys hate it. It's your fault. It's like, no, the story sucks. It's your fault. Nobody wants to watch this crap. It's like many people have said is that the writers are writing for an audience of one. I think Vince is, to me anyways, I think this is a complete troll on the crowd. And they're really kind of torturing their own like hardcore supporters with this crap. Because like I said, the people that they're trying to piss off don't really care and don't really watch. They'll watch the YouTube clip or the Instagram clip or other podcasts, like I said, to get the whole breakdown. But nobody's really watching this shit like nobody's really watching their show. And, it's really taking down two guys who are still able to go at a high level. Lashley is a freakish athlete, can put on a good match. When he was an Impact, he was shown in a way better light. Rusev, I mean, everybody seems to like Rusev. I was not really a big fan of Rusev, but I mean, I feel bad for the guy because I think he should at least be on TV doing something else, wrestling, doing that, putting on matches, putting over people, or putting them in a, like him and Lashley, just two brutes going at it as a rivalry, just sounds good enough already. Let those two just fucking beat the hell out of each other. You don't need to throw in this crap just because you guys think that their personalities aren't up to par. It's like, well, their personalities up to par. Maybe it's your writing is not up to par. Maybe your writing sucks. Maybe it was great maybe back in like 98 and 99, but it's not good in 2019, man. Just, it's something that should have been done 20 years ago. Let it go. It's done. It's stupid. It's it's in the past. It's a relic, like I said. And obviously it shows nobody's watching this crap and everybody hates it. So hopefully they fix this. Rusev, I know, has been frustrated on going maybe attacking Twitter people, telling them to shut up that he made, and then the whole money thing. And then I think Jake Hager responded to that, leave that. He said, "Well, leave that bitch in that shitty company," or something to that effect. But hopefully, I think those two know each other. Hopefully, so hopefully it doesn't escalate from there. But you got to feel bad for those guys, man. I don't know. What do you guys think? Was it a troll? Is it a big troll? These are the two things that I really wanted to talk about because I mean they already had the review of Full Gear, and I'm sure you can pretty much figure out Raw was taped, so what's there to talk about really? And WWE is just everything. Everybody's still talking about the whole Saudi Arabia thing, and I figured, okay, let me talk about two things that I've been discussing most with my friends, like at work, about is mostly this shitty storyline and that Moxley match that they had on Saturday. So those are the two things I wanted to talk about. What do you guys think about both of those topics? Did AEW go too far with that match? Is it too violent? I don't think it is. What do you guys think about that whole subject and hardcore wrestling in general? And then this car crash, stupid Jerry Springer love triangle shit fucking storyline. What do you guys think of that? Do you feel like everybody's losing in this? Because that's what I feel. I feel everybody's losing when it comes to this thing. So let me know what you guys think. Just wanted to do a quick little podcast here for you guys. Thank you guys for listening. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like, hit the notification bell, and I will catch you next time. Twitters and Instagrams, and thank you guys for following along. I'll catch you next time on Strong Mid-Card Podcast. See you later.